The pills in my refill bottle don't match what I was prescribed. When I called the pharmacy, they said I'd been picking up this exact medication for 3 years. I only moved to this town 6 months ago. I noticed it on a Tuesday morning, which feels important somehow. Tuesdays are my admin days, the days I sort through mail, pay bills, organize the mundane shit that keeps life running. I'd picked up my refill the day before, Monday, same as always. First Monday of the month, like clockwork. The pharmacy tech was the same guy, Marcus, with the eyebrow ring and the tendency to say, "You're all set," in a way that sounds like a question. Nothing unusual. But Tuesday morning, standing in my kitchen with my coffee going cold, I opened the new bottle and the pills were wrong. My prescription is for sertraline, 50 milligrams, small oval tablets, kind of a pale yellow color, generic Zoloft for anxiety. I've been taking it for about 4 years now, ever since the panic attacks got bad enough that I couldn't drive without my hands shaking. Standard stuff. Half the people I know are on something similar. The pills in the bottle were white, round, smaller. I stood there for a solid minute, just staring at them in my palm. My brain did that thing where it tries to rationalize. Maybe they changed manufacturers. Maybe the generic brand looks different now. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I wasn't remembering wrong. I had yesterday's pill still sitting in my daily organizer, the little Monday slot. Pale yellow, oval. These were definitely not the same. I checked the label on the bottle. That's when my stomach did a small cold flip. The label said, risperidone, 0.5 milligrams. Take 1 tablet by mouth daily. Patient, my name. Prescriber, Dr. Sarah Chen. Refill 3 of 12. I didn't recognize the medication name. I'd never heard of Dr. Sarah Chen. My prescriber is Dr. Mehta. Has been for 2 years, and I've definitely never been prescribed anything called risperidone. I did what anyone would do. I Googled it. I read that line 3 times. Antipsychotic. Schizophrenia. My hands were shaking now. But not from anxiety. From something else. Something that felt like the ground tilting slightly under my feet. I don't have schizophrenia. I don't have bipolar disorder. I have generalized anxiety disorder, diagnosed, treated, managed. I've never had hallucinations, never had a manic episode, never been hospitalized. This was wrong, obviously wrong. I called the pharmacy. It was 8:45 in the morning, and they'd just opened. The phone rang 4 times before someone picked up. Not Marcus. A woman's voice, older, professional. Greenview Pharmacy, this is Patricia. How can I help you? Hi, yeah, I picked up a refill yesterday, and I think there's been a mistake. The medication in the bottle isn't what I was prescribed. Okay, let me pull up your account. Can I get your name and date of birth? I gave her the information. Heard typing on the other end. All right. I'm showing a pickup yesterday for risperidone, 0.5 milligrams. Is that what you have? Yes, but that's not what I'm supposed to be taking. I'm prescribed sertraline for anxiety. More typing. A pause that went on too long. I'm not showing any sertraline prescriptions in your file, Patricia said. Her voice had that careful quality people use when they're trying not to sound concerned. Your current medications are risperidone, which you've been picking up monthly since March of 2021, that's 3 years now, and you also have a prescription for benztropine, which you pick up quarterly. My mouth went dry. That's not possible. I only moved to this town in September 6 months ago. Another pause. Sir, your account shows your first prescription fill with us was in March of 2021. You've been a regular customer for 3 years. No, I said. No, that's wrong. I lived in Portland before this. I only moved here for work last fall, 6 months ago. I'm just reading what's in our system, Patricia said. She sounded uncomfortable now. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Can you tell me who prescribed these medications? Dr. Sarah Chen, she's with Greenview Psychiatric Associates. I've never seen a psychiatrist. My doctor is Dr. Mehta. He's a GP. I don't have any record of a Dr. Mehta in our system for you, Patricia said. Look, if you think there's been an error with your prescription, you should contact your prescribing physician. The number for Dr. Chen's office is on the bottle label. But I don't know, doctor. I'm sorry, sir, but I have other customers waiting. If you'd like to speak with the pharmacist, I can have someone call you back later today. I said, yes, fine, whatever, and hung up. I stood in my kitchen, holding the pill bottle, reading the label over and over, the prescription number, the date filled, March 4th, 2024. Yesterday, refill 3 of 12. Refill 3 meant I'd picked this up twice before. In January, in December, but I'd been picking up sertraline in January. In December, I remembered it. I remembered Marcus saying, "You're all set," in his question voice. I remembered the pale yellow pills. Didn't I? I went to my bathroom and opened the medicine cabinet. My old pill bottle was there. The one from last month. I grabbed it, hands actually trembling now. The label said, risperidone. I opened it. White pills, round, small. The bottle before that, the empty one I hadn't thrown away yet, sitting in the recycling bin under the sink. Risperidone. I dumped out my daily pill organizer, the whole week's worth. Every single pill was white, round, small. But I could see them. In my memory, clear as anything, pale yellow, I could see myself taking them every morning with coffee. The same routine for 4 years. Except the pills in front of me weren't yellow, weren't oval. And according to the pharmacy, I'd been taking these white ones for 3 years. I sat down on the bathroom floor. My apartment felt different suddenly. The light coming through the window seemed wrong. Too bright or too angled or something. The tiles under me were cold, and I realized I couldn't remember choosing this bathroom rug. It was blue, kind of a navy color. When did I buy a blue bathroom rug? I made myself breathe. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. The technique Dr. Mehta taught me, except I couldn't picture Dr. Mehta's face. I could remember his office, the waiting room with the fish tank. The receptionist, older woman, always wore cardigans. The exam room with the poster about hand washing. But Dr. Mehta himself, I could remember talking to him, sitting across from his desk. But his face was blurry in my memory, indistinct. I pulled out my phone and opened my contacts. Scrolled to the M's, no Dr. Mehta. I had Dr. Sarah Chen. Greenview Psychiatric Associates, a local number. I checked my calendar app. My next appointment with Dr. Chen was scheduled for March 15th, 2 weeks from now, the appointment. I'd never made that appointment. I was sure I'd never made that appointment. But it was in my calendar, in my handwriting, if digital handwriting counts. I opened my emails and searched for Dr. Mehta. Nothing. I searched for sertraline. Nothing. I searched for Dr. Chen. 43 results. Appointment confirmations going back to March of 2021. Monthly check-ins. Prescription refill. I opened the oldest one. March 9th, 2021. Dear Mr., thank you for choosing Greenview Psychiatric Associates. This email confirms your initial consultation appointment with Dr. Sarah Chen on March 8th, 2021. As discussed during your intake, we will be starting you on a low dose of risperidone to manage your symptoms. Please remember that continuation therapy requires continuation of self. Consistency in medication adherence is essential for treatment success. I read that line again. Continuation therapy requires continuation of self. It sounded like something a doctor would say. Professional, clinical, but also wrong somehow. The phrasing was off. I kept reading. Your next appointment is scheduled for April 5th. Please bring your medication log and symptom journal. Remember, the integration period can be disorienting, but this is normal and expected. Integration period? I clicked on another email. June of 2021. Dear Mr., your progress over the past 3 months has been excellent. The risperidone appears to be managing your symptoms effectively, and your reality coherence scores have improved significantly. We will continue current dosing. Reality coherence scores. That wasn't a real thing. Was it? I Googled it. Nothing medical came up. Just some physics papers about quantum mechanics that I didn't understand. I went back to the emails, started reading them chronologically. There were dozens. They painted a picture of someone, me, seeing a psychiatrist monthly for 3 years. Someone with symptoms that were never quite specified. Someone on antipsychotic medication. Someone undergoing something called continuation therapy. But I didn't remember any of it. I remembered Dr. Mehta, the fish tank, the pale yellow pills. Except I couldn't find any evidence that Dr. Mehta existed. I called my insurance company. The hold music was that generic soft jazz that all medical offices seem to use. I waited for 12 minutes, staring at the white pills scattered on my bathroom floor. Thank you for calling Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is Jennifer. May I have your member ID? I gave it to her. And how can I help you today? I need to verify my prescription coverage. Specifically, I need to know what medications I've been prescribed over the past year. I can help you with that. One moment, please. More typing. I could hear other voices in the background, other customer service reps handling other calls. All right, I'm showing current coverage for risperidone, filled monthly through Greenview Pharmacy. That's been ongoing since March of 2021. You also have quarterly fills of benztropine, same pharmacy, both prescribed by Dr. Sarah Chen. Is there a specific medication you're asking about? Do you show any coverage for sertraline at any point? Let me check. No, I'm not showing any sertraline in your prescription history with us. What about a Dr. Mehta? Do you have any claims from a Dr. Mehta? More typing. No, sir. Your primary care provider on file is Dr. Robert Garrison at Greenview Medical Center, and your psychiatrist is Dr. Sarah Chen. I don't see any Dr. Mehta in your claims history. Dr. Robert Garrison. I didn't know that name either. When did I start seeing Dr. Garrison? Your first claim with Dr. Garrison was, February of 2021. Initial patient consultation. 3 years ago, a month before I allegedly started seeing Dr. And before that? Who was my primary care provider before that? I'm only able to access records from your current policy, which started in February of 2021 when you enrolled through your employer. If you had a previous insurance provider, those records wouldn't show in our system. What employer? A pause. Sir? What employer am I enrolled through? Greenview Medical Center? You're listed as a full-time employee enrolled in our group health plan. My job. My actual job. I'm a medical transcriptionist for Greenview Medical Center. I work from home, transcribing doctors. Can you tell me when my employment started according to the insurance records? Your coverage began February 1st, 2021. That's typically when employment starts, on the first of the month. 3 years ago. Thank you, I said. My voice sounded distant. That's all I needed. I hung up. I sat on my bathroom floor and tried to remember moving to this town. I could see it. Packing boxes in my Portland apartment. The long drive, my car loaded with stuff. Arriving here in September late afternoon, the sun doing that golden thing it does in early fall. Finding this apartment building second floor, apartment 2B. Meeting the landlord, older guy, showed me around. Signing the lease. But when I tried to remember specific details, they got fuzzy. What did the landlord look like? What was his name? What did my Portland apartment look like? I could remember Portland in general. The city. Powell's books. The food carts. The rain. But my specific life there. My apartment. My job. My friends. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my photos. I take pictures of everything. Meals, sunsets, random shit. My camera roll goes back years. The oldest photo was from March of 2021. It was a picture of this apartment, my apartment. The living room, boxes stacked against the wall, my couch in the middle of the floor. The caption I'd written said, "Moving day, new place, new start." March 12th, 2021. Not September. March. 3 years ago. I scrolled through more photos. My apartment gradually getting set up. Furniture arranged. Decorations hung. Pictures of food I'd cooked. Pictures of the view from my window. A few selfies. Some sunset shots from the park near here. No pictures of Portland. No pictures of friends. No pictures of my life before March of 2021. I checked my social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My posts went back years, but the location tags, they all said Greenview, every single one. Going back to March of 2021. Before that, nothing. My accounts existed, but there were no posts. Like I'd created them and then started using them 3 years ago. I stood up. My legs felt weak. I went to my closet and pulled down the box where I keep important documents. Lease agreements, tax returns, old pay stubs. My current lease was on top. I pulled it out. Apartment 2B. Monthly rent, $1,200. Tenant name, mine. Landlord, Greenview Property Management. Lease, start date, March 1st, 2021. Not September, March. 3 years ago. I kept digging, found my previous lease, same apartment, same landlord, lease dated March 1st, 2022. And before that, another lease, March 1st, 2021. I looked at them again. I had 3 leases for the same apartment, each one dated March 1st, but for different years. 2021, 2022, 2023. I'd been living here for 3 years, renewing my lease every year. But I remembered moving here 6 months ago. I sat down on my bed, leases spread out in front of me. My hands were shaking again. Not from anxiety, from something deeper. Something that felt like the world was tilting and I was sliding off. I made myself think, made myself be logical. Option 1, everyone was wrong. The pharmacy, the insurance company, my lease agreements, my emails, my photos, all of it was somehow mistaken, some kind of massive clerical error that had corrupted every record of my life. Option 2, I was wrong. My memories were wrong. I hadn't moved here 6 months ago. I'd lived here for 3 years. I'd been seeing Dr. Chen for 3 years. Taking risperidone for 3 years. And for some reason, I'd constructed false memories of a different life. Option 3, something else. Something I couldn't even articulate yet. I picked up the pill bottle again. Risperidone. Antipsychotic. Was I having a break from reality right now? Was this what psychosis felt like? Being absolutely certain of something that everyone else said wasn't true? But it felt real. My memories felt real. Portland felt real. Moving here in September felt real. The pills in front of me looked wrong. I opened my laptop and searched for Dr. Sarah Chen. Her website came up first. Professional headshot, friendly smile, credentials listed, board certified in psychiatry, specializing in reality integration therapy and continuation treatment protocols. Reality integration therapy, that phrase again. I clicked on her bio. Dr. Chen graduated from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine in 2008. She completed her residency in psychiatry at McLean Hospital with a focus on dissociative disorders and identity continuity. She has been practicing in Greenview since 2020, specializing in helping patients maintain coherent self-narrative during treatment transitions. Coherent self-narrative. Treatment transitions. The language was just clinical enough to sound legitimate, but vague enough to mean almost anything. I looked at her office address. Greenview Psychiatric Associates, 412 Maple Street, Suite 7. I knew where that was. I'd driven past it 100 times. Old brick building downtown near the coffee shop I liked. Had I been inside? Had I sat in her waiting room, filled out intake forms, talked to her about my symptoms? I tried to remember, tried to picture it. Nothing. But the email said I'd been there dozens of times. I checked the time. 10:30 in the morning. Her office would be open. I could call. I could ask to speak to her. I could ask her what the hell was going on, but what would I say? Hi. I don't remember being your patient for 3 years. Can you explain why all my records say I am? She'd think I was having an episode. She'd probably want me to come in immediately, maybe increase my medication. Medication I didn't remember being prescribed, for a condition I didn't remember having. I looked at the pill bottle again. The label had a phone number for the prescriber's office. I could call that number. I could make an appointment, I could go see Dr. Chen and ask her directly, but something stopped me. That phrase in the email, continuation therapy requires continuation of self. What did that mean? I Googled continuation therapy. Got results about continuing medication after successful treatment of depression. Standard medical practice, nothing weird. I added continuation of self to the search. Nothing relevant came up. I tried different combinations. Reality integration therapy, continuation treatment protocols, identity continuity. Most of it was nonsense. New Age websites about spiritual healing, a few academic papers about philosophy of mind, nothing medical, except one result, buried on the third page of Google results. A Reddit post from 2 years ago in a forum about psychiatric medications. The title was, "Has anyone heard of continuation therapy as a treatment protocol?" I clicked on it. The post was short. I've been seeing a psychiatrist for about a year. She keeps using this phrase, continuation therapy, and talking about maintaining self-coherence during treatment. I've tried to look it up but can't find anything about it. The medication I'm on seems to be working, but I'm confused about what exactly I'm being treated for. Has anyone else experienced this? There were 7 comments. The first one, never heard of it. What are your symptoms? OP's reply, that's the thing, I'm not really sure anymore. I started seeing her for anxiety, I think, but now I'm not certain. My memories of why I started treatment are kind of fuzzy. Second comment, risperidone is an antipsychotic. Pretty heavy duty for just anxiety. You might want to get a second opinion. OP's reply, I've thought about it, but my insurance only covers this practice, and honestly, I feel like I'm doing better. I think it's hard to explain. Third comment, this sounds sketchy as hell. Can you check your medical records? You have a right to see everything they've documented. OP's reply, I requested them last week, still waiting. Fourth comment, keep us updated. This is weird. The last comment was from a different user posted a month after the original thread. Hey, is OP okay? They haven't posted in a while. This thread has been bothering me. No response from OP. I checked the username, clicked on their profile, account deleted. I sat back, staring at the screen. Someone else had been in this exact situation. Seeing a doctor they couldn't quite remember, taking medication they didn't understand, feeling like their memories didn't match reality, and then they disappeared from Reddit. I took a screenshot of the thread, saved it to my desktop, then I started searching for more. Different combinations of keywords. Risperidone continuation therapy. Reality integration treatment. Memory problem psychiatrist. I found 3 more similar posts. Different forums, different usernames, but the same basic story. People on risperidone, seeing psychiatrists who used strange terminology, feeling like their memories were unreliable. One post mentioned Greenview specifically. My doctor at Greenview Psychiatric Associates keeps talking about maintaining coherence, and I don't know what that means. Anyone familiar with this practice? No helpful responses. The thread had died after 2 comments. The user's account was still active, but they hadn't posted anything in 18 months. Their last post was in that thread. I checked the other accounts. 1 deleted, 1 inactive for over a year, one still active but hadn't mentioned the issue again after the initial post. It was like people asked about it, got no answers, and then stopped asking, or stopped being able to ask. I closed my laptop. My apartment felt very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen, a car driving past outside. Normal sounds, everything normal. Except I was sitting on my bed, surrounded by evidence that I'd been living a life I couldn't remember. I needed to talk to someone who knew me, someone who could confirm what was real. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my contacts. Dad, my sister, Rachel. A few names I recognized as co-workers from the medical center. Marcus from the pharmacy, though I wasn't sure why I had his number. A couple of people I thought might be friends, though I couldn't picture their faces. I called my mom. It rang 4 times. She always answered on the second ring. She kept her phone in her pocket, volume turned all the way up because she was paranoid about missing calls. 5 rings, voicemail. Her voice, cheerful. "Hi, you've reached Margaret. Leave a message and I'll call you back." I hung up. Tried again. Same thing. Voicemail. I called my dad. Same result. Rachel, voicemail. I tried texting. "Hey Mom, can you call me when you get this? Need to ask you something." The message showed as delivered, not read. I looked at my text history with my mom. The last conversation was from 2 weeks ago. She'd sent me a picture of her garden, some early spring flowers coming up. I'd replied with a thumbs up emoji. Before that, sporadic messages. "How are you doing? Thinking of you? Call me sometime." My responses were brief. "Good. Will do. Busy with work." I scrolled back further. The messages went back months, but they were all like that. Short, impersonal. Like we were distant relatives, not mother and son. When had I last actually talked to her? On the phone, I mean. Or visited. I tried to remember. Nothing came up. Just a vague sense that I talked to my parents regularly, but no specific memories. I called my sister. Voicemail. I tried a coworker, someone named Jennifer, who I had listed as Jen Work. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello? Hey Jen, it's me." "Oh, hi. What's up?" I need to ask you something. This is going to sound weird." "Okay?" She sounded cautious. "How long have I worked at the medical center?" A pause. "What do you mean?" "Just, how long have you known me as a coworker?" I don't know, like 3 years since you started. Why?" "And I work from home, right? As a transcriptionist?" "Yeah. Are you okay? You sound strange." "I'm fine. I'm trying to remember when I started. Was it in February? February of 2021? "I think so. I don't remember exactly. Why are you asking me this?" "Do you remember me talking about moving here from Portland?" Another pause, longer this time. "Portland? I thought you were from here." "From Greenview." "No, I moved here. I lived in Portland before." I don't think you ever mentioned Portland. Are you sure you're okay? You're kind of freaking me out." I could hear it in her voice. Concern. The kind of concern people have when someone starts acting erratic. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm just tired. Didn't sleep well." "Okay, well, take care of yourself. Maybe take a nap or something." "Will do. Thanks, Jen." I hung up. She thought I was from Greenview. had always been from Greenview, but I was from Portland. I grew up in Portland. I went to Franklin High School. I worked at Powell's Books during college. I had a life there. Didn't I? I tried to picture my childhood home. The house I grew up in. I got vague images. A house, a yard, a bedroom. But no specific details, no address, no clear memories of being there. I tried to picture my high school. Franklin High. What did it look like? Nothing clear came to mind. I Googled Franklin High School, Portland, looked at pictures. The building looked familiar, maybe? Or maybe I was just seeing what I expected to see. I Googled my own name plus Portland, added my age, my profession. Nothing came up. No social media hits that weren't already in my current profiles. No news articles, no directory listings. I tried my parents' names, Margaret and Thomas, my last name. Found a couple of results, but they were in different states, not Portland. I tried my sister, Rachel, my last name. One Facebook profile, but it belonged to someone in Ohio. Wrong Rachel. My family didn't exist online. Or if they did, I couldn't find them. I looked at my phone. The contacts for Mom, Dad, Rachel, I'd called them. The numbers existed, but they didn't answer. I checked the numbers. All had the same area code. 503, Portland's area code. I Googled the specific numbers. Nothing came up. I tried calling my mom again. Let it ring all the way through to voicemail. Hi, you've reached Margaret. Leave a message and I'll call you back. Her voice sounded, I don't know, it sounded like my mom, but also generic. Like a voice actor doing a generic mom voice. I was being paranoid. I was spiraling. This is what the risperidone was supposed to prevent, wasn't it? This kind of thinking. This paranoid, delusional thinking. Except I wasn't on risperidone. I was on sertraline for anxiety, except all the evidence said I was on risperidone. Had been for 3 years. I put my phone down and pressed my palms against my eyes. I needed to think clearly. I needed to figure out what was real. Facts? 1. Every official record said I'd been living in Greenview for 3 years. 2. Every official record said I'd been seeing Dr. Sarah Chen for 3 years. 3. Every official record said I'd been taking risperidone for 3 years. 4. I had clear memories of moving here 6 months ago from Portland. 5. I had clear memories of taking sertraline for anxiety. 6. I could not produce any evidence that Portland me had existed. 7. I could not reach my family. 8. Other people online had reported similar experiences and then disappeared. Conclusion: either I was delusional or something was very, very wrong. Was that what this was? Some kind of reverse Capgras? The belief that I had replaced myself? But that didn't explain the medication discrepancy. That didn't explain the Reddit posts. I needed more information. I opened my laptop again and searched for Greenview Psychiatric Associates, found their website. The staff page listed Dr. Sarah Chen and 3 other psychiatrists, all with similar credentials, all specializing in variations of reality integration and continuation therapy. I clicked on the About Us page. Greenview Psychiatric Associates was founded in 2019 to provide cutting-edge treatment for patients experiencing discontinuities in self-narrative and reality coherence. Our evidence-based approach combines pharmacological intervention with therapeutic support to help patients maintain stable identity integration during treatment transitions. We believe that continuation therapy requires continuation of self, and our dedicated team works to ensure that each patient receives individualized care tailored to their unique needs. There it was again, that phrase. I clicked on treatment approaches. Our primary treatment modality involves carefully calibrated pharmacological intervention, typically using atypical antipsychotic medications to stabilize reality perception. Patients undergo regular monitoring to ensure medication efficacy and to track coherence scores throughout the integration period. Our goal is to help patients achieve a stable, continuous sense of self that persists across treatment phases. Coherence scores, integration period, treatment phases. It all sounded medical, professional, but also meaningless. What the hell was a coherence score? I searched for the practice's credentials, looked for licensing information, board certifications, anything official, found their business license. Greenview Psychiatric Associates, LLC, licensed in the state since 2019, found Dr. Chen's medical license. Active, no disciplinary actions. Everything looked legitimate. I searched for reviews, found a few on Google, all 5 stars, all vague. Dr. Chen helped me so much. I feel like myself again. The staff at Greenview Psychiatric are amazing. They really understand what I'm going through. I don't know where I'd be without this practice. They saved my life. No specific details, no mentions of what conditions were being treated. I checked the dates on the reviews, all posted within the last 3 years, all from accounts with no other reviews. I was about to close the laptop when I noticed something. The practice's address, 412 Maple Street, Suite 7. I pulled up Google Maps and looked at the building. It was there. Old brick building, just like I remembered seeing it, but according to Street View, the building was empty. The windows were dark. There was a "For Lease" sign on the door. I checked the date on the Street View image. August 2023. 5 months ago. I zoomed in. The sign was clear. Commercial space available. Contact Greenview Property Management. The same property management company that owned my apartment. I checked the current date. March 5th, 2024. If the building was empty in August and Dr. Chen's practice had been there since 2019, I pulled up the practice's website again, clicked on Contact Us. Address, 412 Maple Street, Suite 7. Phone number listed. I called it. It rang twice. A receptionist answered. Greenview Psychiatric Associates, how may I help you? Hi, I'm calling to confirm your office location. You're at 412 Maple Street? That's correct. Suite 7. And you're open for appointments? Yes, we are. Would you like to schedule something? No, thank you. I just wanted to confirm. I hung up. The building was empty in August, but the practice answered the phone in March. I needed to see it in person. I grabbed my jacket and keys and headed out. The drive downtown took 15 minutes. I knew the route. I'd driven past that building dozens of times, except I couldn't remember ever actually going inside. I parked on the street and looked up at 412 Maple Street. Old brick building, 3 stories. Windows dark. A small sign next to the door listed the businesses inside. I walked closer to read it. Suite 1, Greenview Property Management. Suite 2, Archer and Associates, Attorneys at Law. Suite 3, Vacant Suite. 4, Vacant Suite 5. Vacant Suite 6. Vacant Suite 7. Vacant. No mention of Greenview Psychiatric Associates. But the receptionist had just confirmed this address. I tried the front door. It was unlocked. Inside was a small lobby with a directory on the wall. Same information as the outside sign. Suite 7 was listed as vacant. There was an elevator and a stairwell. I took the stairs. Second floor. Suites 3 through 5. All had frosted glass doors with no names on them. I tried the handles. Locked. Third floor, suites 6 and 7. Suite 6 had the same frosted glass, no name, locked. Suite 7 had a door with a placard, Greenview Psychiatric Associates. The door was propped open slightly. I stood there, staring at it. The building directory said this suite was vacant, but there was a sign on the door. And the door was open. I pushed it open and stepped inside. The waiting room was exactly what you'd expect. Chairs along the wall, a reception desk, magazines on a coffee table, soft lighting, neutral colors, empty. No receptionist, no patients, no sound except the hum of fluorescent lights. "Hello?" I called out. No response. I walked to the reception desk. There was a computer turned off, a phone, a desk calendar, blank, a cup of pens. Everything looked normal but unused, like a stage set. I went down the hallway, past 2 doors labeled Therapy Room 1 and Therapy Room 2, both closed. At the end of the hall was a door labeled Dr. Sarah Chen. I knocked. No answer. I tried the handle. It opened. The office inside was furnished. Desk, chairs, bookshelves, diplomas on the wall, everything you'd expect in a psychiatrist's office. But it felt wrong. The books on the shelves were arranged too neatly. The desk was too clean. The diplomas. I walked closer to look at them. Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, McLean Hospital, board certification in psychiatry, all the credentials from her website. But the names were slightly off. Johns Hopkins University Medical School instead of the School of Medicine. McLean Hospital instead of McLean. Small differences, the kind you wouldn't notice unless you were looking closely. I checked the dates. Everything matched her bio. 2008, 2012. But the paper looked new. The frames looked new. I opened the desk drawers. Empty, except for basic office supplies. Pens, paper clips, sticky. I turned on the computer. It asked for a password. I tried a few obvious ones. Password? Admin. Greenview. Nothing worked. I gave up and turned it off. The office felt like a facade, like someone had created what they thought a psychiatrist's office should look like, but hadn't bothered with the details. I left and checked the therapy rooms. Both were similarly furnished. Chairs, small tables, boxes of tissues, but no personal touches, no signs of actual use. I went back to the waiting room and stood there trying to make sense of it. The practice had a website, a phone number that worked, reviews online. My insurance had records of claims here. I had emails from doctor. But the office was empty, unused. How was that possible? I pulled out my phone and called the practice number again. It rang twice. And then I heard it. A phone ringing. In the office. Coming from behind the reception desk. I walked over. The phone on the desk was ringing. I picked it up. Greenview Psychiatric Associates, how may I help you? My own voice, on my cell phone, played through the desk phone's speaker. I hung up both phones. The office phone was the practice number. The receptionist who'd answered earlier had been... what? A recording? An automated system? But it had sounded like a real person, had responded to my questions naturally. I looked around the empty waiting room. This wasn't real. This practice wasn't real. But I had prescription bottles at home with this address on them. I had insurance claims. I had emails. I left the office, went back downstairs, got in my car. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely get the key in the ignition. I drove home on autopilot, my mind racing. If the practice wasn't real, who was prescribing my medication? Who was filing insurance claims? Who was sending emails? And more importantly, why? I got back to my apartment and sat in my car for a moment, trying to calm down. My building looked normal. Same as always, 2-story brick building, 4 units. My apartment was on the second floor, right side. I'd lived here for 6 months. Except I'd lived here for 3 years. I got out of the car and went inside. My apartment felt different now, like I was seeing it for the first time. The furniture, the decorations, the layout. Had I chosen these things? Did I like them? I couldn't remember. I went to my desk and opened my laptop, started searching for information about Greenview itself. The town. Population around 15,000. Small town, rural area, about an hour from any major city. Main industries, agriculture, some light manufacturing, healthcare. Healthcare, I searched for Greenview Medical Center, my supposed employer. It existed. Large hospital complex, several hundred employees. Website looked professional. Reviews were normal. I'd been working there for 3 years, according to my insurance, but I only remembered starting 6 months ago. I looked up the medical transcription department, found a staff directory. My name was listed. Employee since February 2021. There was a photo next to my name. It was me. But I didn't remember that photo being taken. I clicked on my employee profile. It listed my start date, my department, my supervisor. Supervisor, Jennifer Marsh. The coworker I'd called earlier. I searched for her profile. Found her photo, her credentials. She'd been working there since 2018. I called her again. Hello? Hey Jen, it's me again. Sorry to bother you. No worries, what's up? Can you tell me more about when I started? Do you remember my first day? Not really. I mean, it was 3 years ago. I remember you started in February sometime. Why? Did I seem normal when I started? A long pause. What do you mean by normal? I don't know. Did I seem like I knew what I was doing? Did I talk about my past at all? I guess. You seemed fine. A little quiet, maybe? You mostly kept to yourself. Still do, honestly. We don't really interact much since you're remote. Have we ever met in person? I don't think so. We've done video calls for team meetings, but I don't think we've been in the same room. Do you know anyone who has met me in person? Another pause, longer this time. Why are you asking me this? You're really starting to worry me. I'm sorry, I'm having a weird day. Forget I asked. Maybe you should talk to someone, like, professionally. Are you still seeing your doctor? Yeah, I said. Yeah, I'll call her. Okay, take care of yourself. I hung up. I'd been working remotely for 3 years. No one had met me in person. I checked my work email, logged into the medical center's employee portal. My inbox was full of routine work stuff. Transcription assignments, team updates, payroll notifications. I scrolled back through the years. 3 years of emails, all normal, all consistent with someone who'd been working there since February 2021. I checked my sent folder. Emails I'd supposedly written, responses to assignments, questions about procedures, occasional small talk with coworkers. The writing style sounded like me, but I didn't remember writing any of it. I checked my completed transcription work. Hundreds of files. Medical, I opened a few at random. They were good work. Accurate, professional, the kind of transcription I'd do. But I didn't remember doing any of it. I closed the laptop and looked around my apartment again. 3 years of life I couldn't remember, or 6 months of false memories. Which was real? I picked up the pill bottle again. Risperidone. What if I'd been taking this medication for 3 years, and it had been affecting my memory? What if my memories of Portland, of moving here 6 months ago, of taking sertraline, what if all of that was false? What if the medication had created false memories, and I was only now realizing it? But that didn't explain the empty office. That didn't explain the fake diplomas, unless I'd imagined that too. Had I really gone to that office? Or had I imagined it? I checked my phone's location history. I'd been to 4 and 12 Maple Street today at 11:47 a.m. Stayed for 18 minutes. So I'd really been there. But what had I actually seen? I couldn't trust my memories anymore. Couldn't trust my perception. That's what the medication was for, wasn't it? To fix my broken perception of reality. Except I didn't remember having a broken perception of reality. I sat down on my couch and tried to think logically. If I was delusional, if I was having psychotic symptoms, I wouldn't be able to recognize it. That's how delusions work. They feel real. But if I wasn't delusional, if something genuinely strange was happening, I needed to find proof. I needed evidence that couldn't be explained away by faulty memory or broken perception. I thought about the Reddit posts. Other people who'd reported similar experiences. What if I could find them? Talk to them? I opened my laptop and went back to that original Reddit thread. The user who'd posted it had deleted their account, but I had their username from the thread. YouThrowaway22. I searched for that username on other platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Nothing. I tried variations. Searched for keywords from their post. Nothing. They'd vanished completely. What about the other posts I'd found? I went back through my search history and pulled up the other threads. One user, you, medical mystery. Account deleted. Another, you, Greenview patient. Account inactive. Last post 18 months ago. The third, you, reality needed. Account still active. I clicked on their profile. Their last post was from 6 months ago, completely unrelated to the medication issue. Something about a video game. I sent them a private message. Hi. I saw your post about continuation therapy and risperidone. I'm experiencing something similar. Can we talk? I didn't expect a response. The post was over a year old. But 3 minutes later, my laptop dinged. New message. Who is this? How did you find that post? My heart started pounding. I'm a patient at Greenview Psychiatric Associates. I'm on risperidone. I'm having memory problems. Your post described exactly what I'm experiencing. A pause, then, don't take the pills. What? Stop taking them. Don't take another dose. Why? What's happening? I can't explain over message. Can you meet in person? I stared at the screen. This could be anything. A troll. Someone dangerous. A delusion. But it was the first real response I'd gotten. The first person who seemed to understand. Where? I typed. Not in Greenview. They watch there. Can you get to Millbrook? It's about 30 minutes south. Yes. There's a diner on Main Street. The Bluebird, tomorrow at noon. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. How will I recognize you? I'll recognize you. I know what to look for. What does that mean? No response. I waited 5 minutes. They'd gone offline. I checked their profile again. The account was now deleted. I took a screenshot before the message thread disappeared. Tomorrow at noon. The Bluebird Diner in Millbrook. I had 12 hours to decide if I was going to trust a message from an anonymous stranger on the internet, or if I was going to call Dr. Chen and tell her I was having paranoid delusions. I looked at the pill bottle. Risperidone. Take 1 tablet daily. I hadn't taken today's dose yet. I opened the bottle and poured the pills into my hand. Counted them. 30 pills, a month's supply. I put them back and closed the bottle. Then I went to my bathroom and dumped them down the toilet. All of them. I watched them swirl away, white circles disappearing into the water. If I was delusional, I just flushed my medication. I'd probably get worse. I'd probably end up in a hospital. If I wasn't delusional, I'd just freed myself from whatever those pills were doing to me. Either way, there was no going back now. I spent the rest of the day and night in my apartment waiting, watching, feeling like the walls were closing in. I didn't sleep. At 11 a.m. the next day, I got in my car and drove to Millbrook. The Bluebird Diner was easy to find. Classic American diner, chrome and red vinyl, right on Main Street. I parked and went inside. It was moderately crowded. Lunch rush just starting. I took a booth near the back and ordered coffee. At exactly noon, someone slid into the seat across from me. A woman, maybe mid-30s, dark hair, tired eyes. She looked normal, unremarkable. She looked at me for a long moment, studying my face. You stopped taking them, she said. I can tell. How? Your eyes. They're starting to clear. Give it a few more days and you'll really start to notice. Notice what? She leaned forward. How long have you been on risperidone? According to my records, 3 years. According to my memory, I've never taken it before. She nodded. Same. I was on it for 2 years before I figured it out. Figured what out? The pills don't treat a condition, they create one. I stared at her. I know how that sounds, she said. Believe me, I know. But think about it. What do you remember from before you started taking them? I remember everything. I remember my whole life. Do you? Really? Or do you remember the idea of your life? The concept of it? I opened my mouth to argue, but stopped. Portland. My childhood. My family. When I tried to picture specific memories, they were vague, fuzzy, like memories of memories. The medication doesn't erase your past, she said. It just makes it less solid, and at the same time, it makes your current life more real, more solid, until eventually, you can't tell the difference between what you actually lived and what you've been living. But why? Why would anyone do that? That's the question I've been trying to answer for 6 months. Ever since I stopped taking the pills and ran. Ran from what? Greenview, the practice, all of it. She glanced around the diner, nervous. I lived there for 2 years, worked at the hospital, saw Dr. Chen monthly, took my medication like a good patient. And then one day, I missed a dose. Just forgot. And that night I had a dream about my sister. Okay? I don't have a sister. Never did. But in the dream, she was so real, so clear, more real than anything I'd experienced in years. And when I woke up, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Couldn't stop feeling like I'd lost something important. She took a breath. So I stopped taking the pills. And over the next week, more memories came back. Real memories. Of a life before Greenview, a different job, different friends, a different me. And I realized that the person I'd been for 2 years wasn't fully me. It was a version of me, a simplified version, like someone had taken my personality and filed off all the complicated edges. Continuation of self, I said quietly. She looked at me sharply. You've heard that phrase? It's all over Dr. Chen's website. Continuation therapy requires continuation of self. Right. Because that's what the medication does. It continues you, keeps you stable, keeps you coherent, keeps you from asking too many questions or remembering too much or being too complicated. But why? I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out. I found 7 other people like us, all lived in Greenview, all saw a doctor, all took risperidone, all have the same gaps in their memory. Where are they now? Gone. I had email addresses, phone numbers. We were supposed to meet up, compare, like the Reddit users. Exactly like the Reddit users. We sat in silence for a moment. What do you think happens to them? I asked. I think they go back, or they get brought back. The medication is addictive, not physically, but psychologically. The longer you're on it, the more real your Greenview life becomes, and the more your old life feels like a dream. Eventually, most people choose to go back, choose to keep taking the pills, because it's easier than living with the confusion. But not you. Not me. Not yet. She looked at me. And hopefully not you. I don't understand what Greenview is, why it exists. I have a theory. Want to hear it? I nodded. I think Greenview is a test site. I think someone is running an experiment on identity continuity and memory manipulation, the medication, the therapy, the whole setup. It's designed to see how much of a person's identity can be rewritten while keeping them functional. That's insane. Is it? Think about it. Everyone in Greenview works at the hospital or for businesses connected to the hospital. Everyone sees doctors from the same practice. Everyone has the same gaps in their memory. It's a controlled population. But why? I don't know. Maybe it's pharmaceutical research. Maybe it's something else, but whatever it is, it's not legal and it's not ethical. I thought about my apartment, my job, my 3 years of life that I couldn't quite remember. How do I get out? I asked. You already did. You stopped taking the pills. Now you need to leave town. Today. Don't go back to your apartment. Don't contact anyone in Greenview. Just get in your car and drive. I can't just leave. I have a job, an apartment. Do you? Or do you have records that say you have a job and an apartment? Have you ever actually been to the hospital in person? Have you ever met your landlord face to face? I thought about it. I hadn't. Everything had been remote, digital, impersonal. Where would I go? Anywhere. Find a new town, get a new job, start over. Your real life is still out there somewhere. You just have to go find it. What about you?
I'm leaving today too. This is my last stop. I've been moving around for 6 months, but I think they're getting close. I need to disappear completely.
They? Whoever runs Greenview, whoever is behind all this. She stood up. Good luck, she said. And whatever you do, don't go back. She left the diner. I watched through the window as she got into a car and drove away. I sat there for a long time, staring at my coffee. Then I paid the check and walked out to my car. I sat in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel. I could drive back to Greenview, go to my apartment, call doctor, tell her I'd had an episode, get back on the medication, or I could drive away, leave everything behind. Trust that somewhere out there was a real life waiting for me. I started the car, and I drove. Not back to Greenview, south. I drove for 3 hours before I stopped. Small town, name I didn't recognize. I checked into a motel and paid cash. That night, I lay in bed and waited for the clarity the woman had promised. It didn't come. Instead, I felt more confused, more disoriented. I tried to remember Portland, tried to picture my childhood home. Nothing came into focus. I tried to remember Greenview, my apartment, my routine. That was clear, sharp. I pulled out my phone, looked at my contacts. Dad, Rachel. I called my mom. She answered on the second ring. Honey, is everything okay? Her voice, clear, familiar. Mom, I said, I need to ask you something. Of course, what is it? Where did I grow up? A pause. What do you mean? Just tell me, where did I grow up? In Greenview, honey. You've lived there your whole life. Are you feeling all right? My whole life. And you and Dad, where do you live? In Greenview, on Elm Street, same house we've always been in. Sweetheart, you're scaring me. What's going on? I'm fine, I said. I'm fine, I got confused for a minute. Are you taking your medication? Yes, I lied. Good. Make sure you don't miss any doses. You know how you get when you miss doses. How do I get? Confused, disoriented. You start having those episodes where you think you're from somewhere else, Remember last year, when you were convinced you'd lived in Seattle? I didn't remember that. Right, I said. I remember. I'm worried about you. Maybe you should call Dr. C if she can fit you in this week. Maybe. I love you, honey. I love you too, Mom. I hung up. I sat in the motel room, phone in my hand. My mom said I'd lived in Greenview my whole life. The woman in the diner said I hadn't. Who was right? I looked at my phone. Opened my photo gallery. The pictures went back 3 years. All from Greenview. But I could remember taking pictures before that. In Portland. Of my life there. Couldn't I? I tried to picture a specific photo. A specific moment. Nothing came. I put the phone down and looked at my hands. They were shaking. Not from anxiety. From withdrawal. I hadn't taken the medication in 36 hours. The woman said I'd start to clear up. Start to remember. But I wasn't clearing up. I was getting worse. I picked up the phone and called Dr. Chen's office. The receptionist answered. Real person this time, I thought. Or maybe not. I need to speak to doctor. It's urgent. I can schedule you for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Would that work? Yes, thank you. I hung up. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'd go back to Greenview. I'd see doctor. I'd get back on the medication. Because maybe the woman in the diner was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the medication wasn't creating a false life. Maybe it was keeping me tethered to my real life. Maybe without it, I'd drift away completely. I lay down on the motel bed and closed my eyes. And tried not to think about the fact that I couldn't remember what my mother's face looked like. Or that when I tried to picture my childhood home, all I could see was my apartment in Greenview. Or that the clearest memory I had was of Dr. Chen's office. The office that didn't exist. Or did it? I couldn't tell anymore. Continuation therapy requires continuation of self. But which self? The one I thought I was? Or the one I'd been for 3 years? I fell asleep without an answer. And when I woke up the next morning, I drove back to Greenview.